While most of our watch focus at high consumption skews towards utility and function, every collection deserves a good dress watch. The dress watch occupies a unique position in horological history, born from necessity when pocket watches proved impractical for emerging wristwatch culture, yet refined through decades of evolving formal standards. Unlike many of the sport and tool watches that broadcast their capabilities, the best dress watches whisper their sophistication through proportion, finishing, and restraint. So what exactly defines a proper dress watch? Clean, uncluttered dials that prioritize legibility and elegance, slim profiles that disappear beneath shirt cuffs, quality movements that deliver reliability without unnecessary complications, and that intangible sense of refinement that elevates any outfit without screaming for attention. The challenge in today's market isn't finding dress watches, it's finding ones that deliver authentic quality and character without requiring mortgage-level investments. From Swiss heritage brands offering unexpected value to innovative micro brands reinterpreting classic design language, the sub-$1,000 dress watch segment has never been stronger. Today, we're taking a deep dive into our favorite affordable dress watches, all with a price point under $1,000. For reference, all watches were shot and tested on a 6.75-inch wrist, and we've intentionally kept our coverage concise as we have individual reviews on many of these watches on our channel and website. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're kicking off our affordable dress watch guide with what might be the most compelling entry-level mechanical timepiece on the market today. Back in 2017, Timex did something unprecedented. They released their first hand-wound watch since 1982, breathing new life into their 1960s Marlin archives. The result? A criminally underpriced dress watch that punches well above its weight class. At first glance, the Marlin's modest proportions might seem questionable by modern standards, but the execution is spot on for a vintage-inspired dress piece. We're looking at a 34mm case diameter and 41mm lug-to-lug with a svelte 10mm thickness, dimensions that translate to an incredibly wearable experience that slides effortlessly under shirt cuffs. The compact case combined with those curved, drilled lugs means this watch disappears on the wrist in the best possible way. The domed acrylic crystal sits proud of the case, adding authentic period height that some might find polarizing, but we think it nails the 1960s aesthetic perfectly. The real star here is that rich chocolate brown sunburst dial. Timex nailed the vintage appeal with stylized Arabic numerals at the even hours and crisp indices elsewhere. The brushed sunburst effect creates genuine depth and visual interest that rivals watches costing significantly more money. Inside, you'll find what's believed to be a modified Seiko ST6 movement, a 17-jewel hand winder that keeps respectable time around plus 10 seconds per day. The tactile satisfaction of winding this watch each morning connects you to horological tradition in a way that's increasingly rare at this price, though it is worth mentioning that the crown is on the smaller side, and it can be difficult to adjust. The chocolate brown leather strap with crocodile grain matches perfectly, though the quality is what you'd expect at this price point. Quick-release spring bars make swapping effortless. It's also worth noting that this watch only features a 30-meter water resistance rating, which is not uncommon for dress watches. For just over $200, the Marlin delivers authentic dress watch DNA with genuine mechanical soul, an increasingly rare combination in today's market. For years, the Orient Bambino has been the go-to recommendation for affordable dress watches, but previous iterations always felt slightly off, either too large at 40.5mm or lacking character in the smaller 38mm variants. Enter the Bambino version 2 small seconds, which finally nails the formula by combining the best elements of Orient's dress watch lineup into one compelling package. The case dimensions here are spot on for a modern dress watch, 38.4mm in diameter with a 44mm lug-to-lug and 12mm thickness, including that signature domed mineral crystal. Unlike its oversized predecessors, this Bambino wears like it belongs on your wrist, sliding effortlessly under shirt cuffs while maintaining vintage presence. The fully brushed flanks with polished lugs and bezel create subtle contrast without being too flashy. That domed mineral crystal is the star of the show, creating an authentic bubble effect that screams 1950s pocket watch DNA. Sure, purists will bemoan the lack of sapphire, but the reality is that achieving this tall, boxed crystal profile in sapphire would add significant cost, and we think Orient made the right call prioritizing the aesthetic here. The white dial with Roman numerals pulls directly from the beloved version 2 playbook, but the addition of that small second subdial at 9 o'clock elevates the entire composition. The radially finished subdial adds visual depth and sophistication that the standard 3-hand Bambinos always lacked. Thin, elegant hands stretch properly to their respective markers, a detail that sounds minor, but we really appreciated handling this watch in person. A date window at the 3 o'clock position rounds things out on the dial. Inside, the F6222 automatic movement provides hand-winding, hacking seconds, and a solid 40-hour power reserve. It's essentially Orient's version of popular Japanese calibers like Seiko's NH series, offering reliable daily driver performance without breaking the bank. And interestingly enough, the F6222 movement is actually manufactured by Seiko Instruments as well. Orient also puts the movement on display through the exhibition caseback. Like the Timex Marlin, the Orient Bambino features a 30-meter water resistance rating. The leather strap feels appropriate for the price point, but adjusting it to different sizes can be a bit of a pain, as the strap gets really stiff after setting your sizing. Thankfully, the 20mm lug width makes finding quality replacements easy, though we wish Orient had included quick-release spring bars to simplify swaps. At roughly $300, this represents one of our favorite Orient dress watches to date, finally delivering the proportions and character enthusiasts have been requesting for years. Leave it to Seiko to create an entire collection inspired by cocktails, and honestly, we're here for it. The Presage Cocktail Time series has become a sleeper hit in the affordable dress watch space, and the Negroni variant might just be the most compelling of the bunch. It's certainly our favorite. That deep red dial alone is worth the price of admission. At 38.5mm in diameter with an 11.8mm thickness and 45.4mm lug-to-lug, the proportions here are absolutely dialed in for a modern dress watch. The polished stainless steel case catches light beautifully, creating that premium feel you'd expect from pieces costing a lot more money here. But let's talk about that dial. This is where Seiko's artisans really flex their skills. The deep red colorway transitions from darker burgundy tones at the outer edge to a lighter wine hue toward the center, creating genuine depth through gradation rather than simple sunburst finishing. The guilloche pattern adds textual complexity that reveals itself differently depending on lighting conditions. It's the kind of dial that rewards closer inspection. The applied Arabic numerals at even hours paired with polished indices at odd positions strikes the perfect balance, enough visual interest without overcrowding the 38.5mm canvas. And Seiko finished off the dial with a black date window at the 3 o'clock. That signed crown and exhibition caseback showcase nice attention to detail for this price point. Inside, the 4R35 automatic movement delivers everything you need from a daily driver: hand-winding capability, hacking seconds, a solid 41-hour power reserve, and the reliability Seiko movements are known for. This is essentially their version of the ubiquitous NH35, but reserved exclusively for Seiko-branded pieces. The box-shaped Hardlex crystal maintains that vintage aesthetic, while the leather strap feels surprisingly substantial for this price point. And the butterfly deployant clasp is great for daily wear. Quick-release spring bars make swapping straps effortless. What you're getting here is authentic Japanese craftsmanship, with a dial that punches well above its weight class, 50 meters of water resistance, and case proportions that nail the dress watch brief perfectly. Here's something completely different from the New York-based micro brand that made their name with vintage-inspired dive watches. The Zephyr represents Laurier's first foray into dress watch territory, and honestly, it's a masterclass in how to execute Art Deco elegance without breaking the bank. The tonneau case shape immediately sets us apart from anything else in our guide thus far, inspired by the likes of the Cartier Tank, JLC Reverso, and the Rolex Tonneau. At 31mm wide, 42mm lug-to-lug, and just 8mm thick, these proportions might seem diminutive by modern standards, but they're absolutely period correct for 1930s design language. Laurier claims it wears similar to a 35mm round watch, and we'd agree. The elongated silhouette creates genuine wrist presence despite the compact footprint. That fully polished stainless steel case catches light beautifully, creating the kind of visual drama you'd expect from more expensive watches. The step at the bezel adds architectural interest, while those straight lugs give the watch just enough muscle to avoid looking too precious on the wrist. Not surprisingly, the watch has a 30-meter water resistance rating. The dial is where Laurier's attention to detail really shines. Underneath the sapphire crystal, the guilloche pattern radiates from the center in undulating waves. Sure, it's stamped rather than engine-turned, but the execution is remarkably convincing at this price point. Those heat-blued hands, just two of them, hour and minute in proper dress watch tradition, against the silvery white background create genuine vintage appeal here. The doubled baton markers at 3, 6, and 9, tripled at 12, maintain clean symmetry without resorting to overly formal Roman numerals. This time-only approach feels refreshingly pure in an era where every watch seems to need a date complication. Sometimes less really is more. Inside, the Miyota 9029 no-date automatic movement offers the thin profile necessary for this case design while delivering reliable daily driver performance. At $499, the Zephyr is perhaps our favorite dress watch at the $500 price point. Tissot's earned its reputation as the Swiss value king, and the Gentleman Powermatic 80 Silicium might be their strongest argument yet. This watch has been dubbed the baby Rolex in some circles, and while that comparison feels a bit hyperbolic, there's definitely substance behind the hype. The 40mm stainless steel case strikes an ideal balance between contemporary sizing and dress watch sensibility. At 11.5mm thick, with a 48mm lug-to-lug, it disappears under shirt cuffs while still maintaining proper presence on the wrist. Tissot's chosen a blocky, slab-sided approach that recalls vintage puller routers, brushed mid-case with polished bevels creating visual depth without unnecessary complexity. That push-pull crown lacks the confidence of a screw-down unit, but it's still the first dress watch on our guide to hit that 100-meter water resistance rating. Where this watch separates itself from the pack is in the details. Underneath the domed sapphire crystal with AR coating, those applied hour markers are beautifully executed. Brushed tops with mirror-polished sides that catch light dynamically throughout the day. The faceted sword hands complement this aesthetic perfectly, while that metallic dark blue dial avoids the typical sunburst treatment that really dominates this price segment. Smart move by Tissot. A white frame date window at the 3 o'clock completes the dial ensemble. Under the hood is the Powermatic 80 movement. While it's essentially a modified ETA 2824-2, the 80-hour power reserve and magnetic resistance from that silicone hairspring puts its caliber ahead of most competitors. The exhibition caseback showcases Tissot's Wave of Time rotor decoration, a nice touch that adds perceived value here. While this watch is available with a bracelet, on leather, the timepiece transforms completely. The black strap lightens the overall package considerably compared to the hefty steel bracelet, making daily wear far more comfortable. The 21mm lug width means sourcing replacement straps requires slight creativity. We did find the butterfly clasp here to be a bit annoying when it came to sliding the strap end into the keepers while securing the clasp. At roughly $800, you're getting Swiss manufacturing, silicone technology, and finishing that embarrasses watches costing twice as much. Tissot continues proving that value and quality aren't mutually exclusive. Mido doesn't get nearly enough attention in the North American markets, which is a shame because the Swiss brand consistently delivers exceptional value within Swatch Group's sprawling portfolio. The Belluna Royal Gent represents everything compelling about modern Mido: refined aesthetics, solid engineering, and pricing that makes luxury Swiss watchmaking accessible. This 41.8mm cushion case, with its 48mm lug-to-lug, feels much more substantial on the wrist than the previous dress watches on this guide. But we wouldn't say it feels overbearing by any means, thanks to clever proportioning and a relatively slim profile at 10.1mm thick. The fully polished stainless steel construction creates an undeniably elegant presence, while a stepped bezel adds architectural interest that elevates it beyond simple dress watch territory. It's also water resistant up to 50 meters. Like many watches on this guide, that dial deserves special mention. Underneath the anti-reflective sapphire glass, the radiating sunburst pattern creates exceptional depth and visual drama. Under different lighting conditions, the blue shifts from deep navy to brilliant azure, providing the kind of dynamic character usually reserved for more expensive pieces. Applied indices catch light beautifully while maintaining excellent legibility, and the date window at 3 o'clock integrates seamlessly without disrupting the dial's flow. Mido's chosen the caliber 80SI for power, essentially their version of the proven Powermatic 80 with silicone hairspring technology. This translates to impressive 80-hour power reserve, enhanced magnetic resistance, and the reliability that's made this movement family a modern classic. The automatic rotor winds smoothly and quietly during daily wear, and can be viewed through the exhibition caseback. The black leather strap complements the polished case nicely, though the quality feels appropriate rather than exceptional for this price point. Quick-release pins would have been a nice welcome addition for easy customization, though the 20mm lug width offers plenty of options. Where the Belluna Royal truly excels is in striking that perfect balance between dress and sport aesthetics. It's refined enough for formal occasions, yet robust enough for everyday wear. It feels like a genuine go-anywhere do-anything watch that doesn't compromise either personality. The finishing quality consistently impresses, with tolerances and attention to detail that rival pieces costing a lot more money, and you're still getting Swiss engineering at an accessible price point. Forget every minimalist fashion watch you've ever seen. This is what purposeful design actually looks like. The Max Bill represents one of the most successful translations from functional design to wearable art, created by Swiss Bauhaus legend Max Bill himself in the 1960s. What started as Junghans' iconic kitchen clock became horological history. Of course, the watch's overall aesthetic is gorgeous, but the magic lies in the details most people miss. That distinctive 4 marker, slightly angled and impossibly elegant, has become the calling card that separates authentic design from derivative copies. The matte silver-plated dial appears simple until you notice the subtle texturing that adds depth without distraction. Even the typography feels intentional, each numeral positioned with mathematical precision that would make any Bauhaus instructor proud. At 38mm with a wafer-thin 7.9mm profile, this case disappears completely under shirt cuffs, while still maintaining surprising wrist presence at the same time. The minimal bezel maximizes dial real estate, creating the illusion of a larger watch despite compact dimensions. Junghans uses sapphire crystal now. Earlier versions featured acrylic, providing scratch resistance while maintaining that clean aesthetic. While this watch is of course offered in automatic variants, the J645.33 quartz movement powering this max bill keeps the watch within our $1,000 budget. Build quality reflects proper German manufacturing standards. Case finishing feels substantial, the crown operates smoothly, and even the leather strap shows thoughtful construction. Water resistance also reaches a practical 50 meters. This timepiece isn't trying to be sporty or flashy. It's confidently minimal in ways that make other minimalist watches look like costume jewelry. Whether paired with tailored clothing or casual wear, the Max Bill has and will always be one of our favorite dress watches, regardless of price point. There's something deeply satisfying about a watch that knows exactly what it wants to be. The Hamilton Intra-Matic Auto emerged in 2012 during the Mad Men era as a faithful tribute to the watch from the 1960s, and it has quietly become one of the most compelling dress watches under 4 figures. The 38mm case might sound conservative, until just like the Junghans Maxfill, you realize the minimal bezel maximizes dial real estate, creating surprising visual impact. At just 9.8mm thick, this disappears under shirt cuffs, while the gold PVD coating adds visual warmth to the mix. Hamilton's chosen proportions here are mathematically perfect. It's not too small to feel insignificant, and not large enough to compromise the vintage aesthetic. That gradient brown dial is an absolute stunner in person. Underneath the sapphire crystal, the frosted finish creates texture that shifts from rich chocolate at the edges to lighter tobacco tones towards the center, while cutout indices add dimensional depth. Sure, legibility suffers slightly in certain lighting compared to the high-contrast silver dial variants, but the visual drama more than compensates. Meanwhile, a black wheel date window rounds out the design for the dial. Here's where Hamilton separates itself from the competition. The ETA 2892-A2 movement. While competitors used 2824-2 calibers, Hamilton invested in the thinner, more refined 2892, the same base movement Omega used for early coaxial pieces. This choice enables a super thin case profile while providing 42-hour power reserve and exhibition case back appeal. It also features a 50-meter water resistance rating. The leather strap quality remains Hamilton's Achilles heel here, functional but uninspiring for this price point. Fortunately, the 20mm lug width opens endless customization possibilities, and this watch transforms completely with quality aftermarket straps. What makes the Intra-Matic special isn't revolutionary technology or cutting-edge materials. Instead, it's the careful curation of proportions, movement selection, and aesthetic details that create something greater than the sum of its parts, something that truly captures 1960s American optimism. At $1,095, it does put this watch just a touch above our $1,000 budget, and you're certainly approaching luxury territory pricing. If you have a hard cutoff of $1,000, it's also worth taking a look at the Jazzmaster Auto, which is another great affordable dress watch from Hamilton. So, there you have it. That's our roundup of the best affordable dress watches under $1,000, spanning from German Bauhaus precision to Swiss heritage value. The best dress watch isn't necessarily the most complicated or expensive. It's the one that elevates your daily rotation with effortless sophistication. Of course, this represents just a fraction of the compelling options in this segment, and we'd love to hear from you. Which of these caught your eye, and what are some of your favorite dress watches under 4 figures? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week.